I'm going to convert a treadmill into a working 3D printer, but not any 3D printer, a belt printer. On a belt printer, instead of the extruder moving away from the bed, the entire XY plane is at an angle. So the extruder moves in a single plane, so it's the belt that moves away from the extruder, taking the part with it. As the part reaches the end of the belt, it detaches until it breaks loose. Unless you are trying to print something really big, because the belt never ends. So you can have infinite printing volume, in theory. But I'm not gonna do this all by myself. John from Proper Printing, who lives in the same reality-denying dimension as I do, had this idea of printing a whole kayak with it, and then use it in the water. All of this is his fault, really. And it looks like Prusa, proud filament sponsor of this channel, is in with the idea, and we may end up testing the kayak in a lake near the Prague Maker Faire in May. Honestly, I don't like cold water a bit, so I might end up printing my own backup boat. We'll see. The teeny tiny issue with this project is that my shop is in the north of Spain and yours is in the Netherlands. But we are both very reasonable people and we quickly found a middle ground. That's why John is in my shop in Spain. He even brought help and everything. John already found a second-hand treadmill and he drove with it all the way here. So the treadmill side of things is already solved. We just need to fit it with all the 3D printer related stuff. John already took care of the frame, the bed heating, and a lot more stuff, so go to John's channel and check how it happened. And now it's my turn. I need to take care of the XY assembly. Yeah. I have to do something, right?
Yeah.
Are you feeling like I'm not making progress?
No comments.
But I think the design that I have is going to work, so just let's get to it. Thank you. As we are going to reduce the angle of these two side posts to 45 degrees, John already made these brackets in here to modify the angle of these two handles in here so we can still use it as a regular treadmill. So I can just now disassemble all of this and just start working on the posts. There you go. Thank you. No, you can keep it.
Okay.
At least for now. For starters, I just need to attach these two HGR20 linear rails to the sides of the two posts. By the way, if you think that these are overkill, they are. I intended to buy HGR15 and I bought these by mistake. So I had to modify the entire design just to accommodate for this. So that's the first big redesign. And quick PSA, if you ever need to remove these blocks from the rails, just transfer them to another rail or just put them in the guides that usually come with the blocks. Because if you remove the blocks from the rails without getting them anywhere else, all the bearings will fall off the block and it's a nightmare to get them back in. Don't ask how I know.
We should just show it.
Anyway, these need to go in a very specific position. So I printed these templates that will position the rails in place so I can mark the holes in the right place. I'm marking, drilling and tapping all the holes without worrying too much about the horizontal positioning, as I can adjust that later. And I'll definitely have to cut this shorter so I can do fine adjustment there. And now that I know how long the rails need to be, I can cut them to length and screw them to the side posts. Which one is the front? That one.
Yeah.
And you need to work where? There. So do I. What did we make that board for, if it fits perfectly on the table? That doesn't fit, right?
No.
We only have 10 days to finish this printer before John has to go back to the Netherlands. And we are already on day 3, so we kept forgetting stuff and making silly mistakes and stepping on each other's work. The rails are ready and the posts are back on the treadmill, so I can now get the blocks back in and add the two brackets that will hold the gantry in place. And this is the extrusion that we will use to make that gantry. And now I will position the gantry in place so I can mark all the mounting holes, including the holes for the side brackets. And we already know the drill. We can now screw in the rail that is of the exact length we need. So no cutting required! It slides perfectly and it only took 3 attempts to make it work first try. The gantry is gonna weigh a lot and this is a pretty steep incline, so I will have to give a lot of current to the motor so they are gonna get really hot. I printed these brackets on petit, but I don't think it's going to be enough, so I was going to use this intermediate part printed with polycarbonate between the petit part and the motor. And that will protect the petit part but won't help cooling down the motor. And that's where today's video sponsor, PCBWay, comes in handy. I quickly designed a heatsink bracket and went to PCBWay.com. And loaded the design, checked that everything is okay, selected aluminum as the heatsink material of choice, selected the amount, and placed the order. And in no time, I got the parts back. The quality is insane and it mates the motor perfectly. And PCBWay not only does provide 3D printing services on all kinds of materials, they also do CNC machining, injection molding, sheet metal fabrication, and a lot more. As you can see, the process is super easy and the quality of the parts is top-notch. So give PCBWay a try following the link in the description, and now let's get back to the gantry. On the opposite side to the motor, we need an idler/tensioner. And on the gantry, the brackets and belt clips, the X-axis motor, and finally, the belt. I already did the same on the other side, and now it's time for the carriage. As I think I have now quite a bit of experience printing large stuff on large printers, I found out that the bottleneck for speed is the extruder. A while ago, John developed an extruder that uses 2 belts to grab the filament and push it into the hot end. So I made my own monster version of that extruder. Instead of GT2 belts, I used HTD5M belts, and you can see how I went downhill from there. Larger bearings, larger idlers, larger pulleys. The frame, of course, gets bigger. And of course, I'm not gonna power it with one of these teeny tiny motors. So, NEMA 23 it is. Now it's just a matter of adding the fitting for the filament input and a Goliath hot end with a CHT nozzle to get the most flow possible. One fan to cool the hot end and another one to cool the part. And this entire stack can be attached to the extruder just using 2 screws. And that's how you end up with a monster carriage. I'll add now the same spinning bracket I used on the giant printer for the cable chain that will route the wires and the filament tube. And everything will be controlled with a Duet 3D toolboard that has connections for everything we need. The hot end, the thermistor, the fans, the motor, and just requires the power and CAN bus cables to go back to the Duet 3D mainboard. A cover, and that's it. We can get it on the gantry. It's time to install the cable chain to route the cables, but it's a bit crowded. And now the cables and the filament tube can go through. I need a way to attach the filament tube fitting on top of the machine, so I had to get creative. I heat it up a drill bit and used it to make the hole. That way I get more wall to thread the fitting than if I had just made a hole. And it works. Now the cable chain for the gantry, and it's time to start printing, so I found a way to get us in the mood to clean up this mess really quickly.
Nice.
We are testing here the sensorless homing because we really don't want to use end stops. So we are really happy it works.
All right.
It's time now to test the extruder,
Oh yes, there
which seems to work,
it goes. It extrudes, man.
but I tried increasing the extrusion rate and it stopped working. So I disassembled it and we found this inside. But this extruder is already a success because that this extruder did to that PLA filament is what regular extruders do to flex filament. So I think it's powerful enough. As John has a lot of experience with this kind of extruders, took a look at my design and told me to try and constrain more the filament path. So I printed a new mount for the hot end with a narrower path and tried again.
And how? Holy shit.
And as you can see from John's reaction,
Nice.
it does work. That's a 1mm nozzle, by the way. We are getting ready for a test print and we found out that the nozzle rubs on the bed quite a lot. And we don't have time to get one of those fancy nozzles for belt printers, so I took the nozzle out and made a nice chamfer on the side in contact with the belt, and now I'd say it's much better. Now we need to get the gantry leveled so the nozzle is aligned with the bed along the x-axis, which requires to modify the homing spot for each side independently, for which we had to botch a screw in here. It works.
Okay.
And we also need to adjust the offset of the nozzle against the bed.
It did a lot of retraction, I think.
Getting it right took a few attempts because the nozzle needs to squeeze the filament against the belt. But also the bed gets melted by the nozzle, so there isn't a lot of wiggle room. John is trying to make the bed more sticky using something that is definitely not hairspray. But after days and days of setbacks and mistakes, it seems that the 3D printing gods are on our side, because we definitely managed to get it printing first try, and it only took 11 attempts. And we managed to get a couple of prints before John had to leave. But that doesn't mean that this printer is ready to print a kayak. So I made a few improvements to the machine so we have a better chance to finish printing a kayak, so we can see John end up in the bottom of the lake. Not me, just John. The first thing that I did was to weld a table for the printer with wheels and everything so we can move it around and get back my workbench. One of the issues that we found while testing the printer is that the gantry and the carriage are so heavy that the brackets for the motor and the idler were pulled in and this belting here was getting loose. We even tried adding double-sided tape to the brackets to fix it. But as a permanent solution, I made this bracket that lays against the linear rail so it stops there, and modified the lower idler bracket so it catches on these bolts here so it can't move either. I also made a complete redesign of the extruder, so now the motor is on the other side and higher up, and changed the angle of the entire carriage and made it lower, and now the nozzle reaches the belt way forward, so it prints well past where the heated bed starts, and the angle of the nozzle against the bed is now 10 degrees higher, so it's easier to lay down those tricky first layers. And with all these changes, I had to move the x-axis belt back under the gantry, and therefore I had to change the y-axis brackets for what is, I think, like the 5th time. As John took with him his bottle of not definitely hairspray, and I ran out of my favorite bed adhesion glue, I just had to resort to about 5 sticks of what's definitely not glue. But at least we are ready to start testing the changes. I had a few failed attempts because we are using Idea Maker, and it kept going through the walls of the part, ruining the print. But I think I managed to get a decent profile now. I'm gonna try and make a 2010mm print, which is 5mm longer than the longest thing that I can print on my giant 3D printer, just to justify to myself all of this. And also to show John that this is a kayak-ready printer. I was at home last night just about to go to bed and I saw that the extruder stopped printing. The part kept going away, but no more plastic was being added to it. And somehow I was expecting something worse. But no, it's just that the pulley on the motor broke. But that has a really easy solution. I just printed a new one on pure nylon. I'll swap it out and start a new and bigger print. Because this thing seems to work. But we should first discard the previous print. I was at home and saw through the webcam that the print had finished and came running. This is even more impressive in person. It makes no sense. It works! The print quality is quite decent. It took about 36 hours, not bad for a 2-meter print. Oh, let's release the print. I knew it was a good idea to have this on wheels. It's well stuck. And of course the belt is destroyed. It's like it wasn't designed for this. This is officially the longest thing that I've ever printed. 2010 millimeters. Makes no sense. I love it. In about a month or so, John will be back here to print his canoe. So don't forget to subscribe to both of our channels to see us sink, to see us race in a lake, and don't forget to check John's channel because it's full of epic stuff like this. And thanks a lot to all my Patreons and members for making this possible. Thank you. And now please go and make something!